Hello, and welcome to the Marriage Diary series. I saw this hashtag on Instagram and I instantly wrote it down because I was like, this is an incredible idea and I'm gonna lean into it. So, every so often, I thought I would come on and do a video of my own kind of marriage diaries, and whether it's something I'm trying out in my marriage, something I'm navigating in my marriage with my husband, but kind of sharing the behind the scenes of what a couples therapist tries to do in their own relationship. So, this week, we had a kiddo-free weekend. Our little one went off to her grandparents, and my husband and I had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to live in our home again without a child. We were also on the tail end of colds, so we were kind of recovering together. But anytime we have these kid-free weekends, we just try to maximize it. And I recently just read the book Fair Play. Eve Rodesky, I might be getting her last name wrong, but she wrote this book about the topic or concept about inequality in households when it comes to like the life obligations, responsibilities, maintenance. So she researched and collected data from all over, but also just started with her friend group looking at all the invisible, visible, mental, physical, emotional load of managing a home, managing your family, managing your relationship. And she put together this game called the Fair Play game. Now, it's definitely not a game that's fun to play, but it can be really helpful in your relationship. So I read the book, I wrapped it up maybe a week or two ago, and I ordered the Fair Play decks, one, because I think it might be good in my therapy practice to bring for couples, just because I see this theme a lot, and two, because a common, here we go again, conflict that happens in my marriage is I typically have a breakdown every month because I feel like I'm taking on the household responsibilities. A lot of it is on me, and I get frustrated. I find myself on the verge of resentment because it feels like too much, and I hit a breaking point every month, and we have the same conflict cycle where I bring it to my husband and he's defensive or reactive, and it's uncomfortable because obviously it doesn't feel good to hear your partner saying like, I don't think you're doing enough, even if those aren't the words I'm using. But we have this, literally it's monthly. It's been before we had a child. It happened the minute we moved into our house. Every month we would have this same conversation, and probably will for the rest of our lives because it's our perpetual problem in our relationship, and the goal is for us to just get better at it. But we have it every month, and so I thought this Fair Play game might be helpful. It's not about equality, it's about equity. So in my marriage, we are both business owners, so we both make our own schedules. However, my husband's schedule is determined by his customers. My schedule is as well, but really it's offering times that work in my schedule. I'm the primary pickup and drop-off parent. My husband helps when he can, but a lot of times his work schedule is anywhere from like 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., whereas mine is pretty set from 9 to 3 every day, so I can drop my little one off and pick her up. So we sat down to do the Fair Play. Let me see if I can pull up the decks real fast. Hold on. So you can see this is my this is my deck for the week. Don't freak out. It is a lot. But there are daily grind. So you see this little coffee daily grind decks. So these are things that you have to do every day. So like morning routine. Today, I'm typically here in the morning. Sometimes my husband's gone before we wake up. I'm in charge of the morning routine. I'm taking on the laundry. I hate the laundry, but I'm taking it on. Childcare helpers. I'm just typically the person interacting, finding sitters, planning the schedule. So this is my card deck. This is what I'm responsible for this week. What we did in the Fair Play cards is that there's probably over 100 different tasks, responsibilities. And you start by sorting the cards out and saying like, what do we value? If we don't value it, don't put it in our card deck. And then with the things that we value, we started to sort them. Who values it more? If someone values it more, they're going to take that responsibility on. With it, though, there were probably things we both value or things that we're currently doing that we both feel like we co-partner, co-parent pretty well in. Now, behind the scenes part, I definitely cried doing this. It says sit down and this will take about an hour. It took 2 hours because we got on the first card. And there's two other pieces with this. You're supposed to define your minimum standard of care. So like when it comes to laundry, what's the minimum standard of care? Is it that the laundry must be folded the minute it's done and put away? Or is it that the laundry needs to be cleaned and put away at least one time a week? What's your minimum standard of care, and how are you both going to abide by that? And then what they call, I think it's CPE or it's CEP, concept, planning, execution. If you have the calendar keeper card, you are creating the concept, you are putting that concept into a plan, and you are executing on that plan. You're doing all three parts. We pulled out our first card, and I think it was cleaning. We could not figure out how to define our minimum standard of care. This household kind of theme in our relationship comes up because we both came from different family backgrounds. I come from a household where both parents were working. He came from a household where one person was working and the other parent was a stay-at-home parent. And the responsibilities were just different. And if you're married or you've been in a relationship, sometimes we try to pull our partner into what we knew growing up, right? So for me, 2-parent working household makes sense. That's our household. For my husband, 1-parent working household, 1-parent stay-at-home parent is what he's used to. Whether it's conscious or unconscious, he is often trying to pull me into like, you're the stay-at-home parent. I'm the work-at-home parent. I'm not a stay-at-home parent. I am working from home. I have the ability to do some extra household tasks, but I'm not the stay-at-home parent. It can't be my whole responsibility to make sure the house is spotless every day or completely organized and tidied up. I am willing to do a lot of things because I understand my job is more flexible, and his career was established before mine. And so there are some features that work for us, but we always find ourselves kind of in these conscious or unconscious pulling ins of like, be like my parents were, or be like my parents were. And we're really still trying to figure out like, how do we create our own system that works for the two of us? And we've been together for 10 years. It's a work in progress. So we spent probably 30 minutes talking about this minimum standard of care. And it got into this dynamic where it was like pointing out what the other was doing. And I ended up in tears because I was like, I just want to work on us. Like, I'm a couples therapist, but I can't be our couples therapist. And we're not in marriage counseling right now. Not that we wouldn't, but we're just not. We've been doing weekly date nights to kind of stay connected. And this is something I'm trying to do to work on us and grow on us. Like, we're really good and we're healthy. And you have to keep working on your relationship. So this is something I'm bringing to the table. And I was so upset and so frustrated and felt so defeated. But we were able to take a breather. He apologized. We found some movement. And we were able to get through all of the card decks and divide our decks. So my deck ended up having 28 cards. And his ended up having like 17 or 18. So you can see that it's not about equality. We don't have the equal amount of cards because in our relationship, this is what's working. I knew I would probably take some more on because I do have the ability to move a load of laundry between a client session, or if I have a lunch break, I can eat some lunch and empty the dishwasher, or fold some laundry, or I have some time before or after my work day that I can do some of these tasks. I'm also an active multitasker, so not that I encourage that because you're not really doing anything to its fullest capacity in that role, but I just will sit and watch a show and fold laundry or whatnot. For him, he has to do like one task at a time, or he does one task and then he's here and here and here and none of the tasks are done and he's like, how did I get here? So I knew I would take more on. And that was the point of the book too, is like, think about what works for your relationship. It's about fairness. What feels fair in your relationship dynamic? Not equal, but fair. And so we're going to try this out this week. I'll come on and give you kind of a lowdown of how it went. But we started implementing it after Saturday. So yesterday, I've got the main ones daily are like dishes and laundry, meals. I guess those are the three that just seem to happen a lot. Oh, look at that little thumbs up. But instead of being like, why am I doing all of this? Or thinking like he's not doing enough, I'm just going to focus on this is my task. It's my responsibility to take the concept, to plan, and to execute. I can ask for help, but if he says no, it's on me. I took this task on this week, and we're going to see if it helps, because this is a common conversation, common theme that we get into of like, I feel like I'm taking a lot of the mental and emotional load on, and as well as the physical tasks for a lot in our life. Part of it is because I value it more and I take the lead and I don't ask for help. But I'm hoping that maybe we can be more collaborative together. We are pretty collaborative, but there are some areas that I think will help. So I ended up giving 2 tasks away, which was making lunch for our little one for school and garbage. On Wednesday nights, we gather the garbage in the house, and it just happens to be something I remember a lot more, whether it's because I feel like I have to or not. But I said, I'll still help empty the trash out of the house, but like, you're responsible for remembering on Wednesday night. It's garbage night. You gotta get the garbage to the curb, on top of whatever else is happening on Wednesdays. So those were 2 of the cards that I handed. I delegated over so that I wasn't holding as many. And we're going to sit down sometime on Saturday or Sunday this coming weekend and just kind of explore, like, how did this work? Are there things that are coming up that we need to redelegate or reassign because of the week we have ahead, or because we recognize one of us does it better than the other? But this is something that we're trying right now. In my own couples work that I do with couples, I always try to encourage trial and error. Let's try things out, see how they work. If they don't work, we can try something else. And I also reflect all the time, like, I'm trying to implement and model what I'm encouraging you guys to do. Sometimes it's a lot easier to do in my relationship, and other times it's tricky, and we have our own relational dynamics that I see with the couples I sit with. So this is just a marriage diary behind the scenes this week. I'll take a part 2 of this video, so maybe I'll be in a different outfit. Maybe I'll be in the same, because unconsciously that happens sometimes when you do these things. But I'll let you know how week 1 went. I definitely recommend the book. Check it out. I will say, it feels like it's geared towards women more, but read the book. I think it's a easy read, a fun read. It looks thick, but it's more about why the concept was created and then how to apply it. And so I definitely encourage you to try it out. We're trying it out. It feels good so far, and I'll continue to give you my thoughts in the second part of this Marriage Diaries piece. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Okay, this is part 2, and I'm laughing because this is a week after I recorded the last video, and I'm wearing the same sweatshirt, and my hair looks exactly the same, but I promise it's a different week because I'm here to review our implementation of week 1 of the Fair Play cards. So I just texted my husband because the plan was that we were going to sit down this weekend. It was Easter weekend, and so it was pure chaos of just busyness. The sunshine was shining here in Washington, and so we didn't get a chance to sit down. So I just sent him a text and was like, give me your thoughts. How do you think this went? And his response was, I wanted to sit down and talk about this. I think it went okay. I think you had a heavier weight. How do you feel it went? I don't think it was fair. And honestly, I was kind of surprised to hear him say that because it felt very validating for how I was feeling. Not that it was unfair, right? The part of this idea of the Fair Play cards is that you're going to keep working on it to find more fairness between the two of you. But I did feel like I had more weight. Could be that it was a holiday. I do tend to take on a little bit more. That's my personality. Could be because of how I approach my daily grind cards and just who I am. That made it feel less fair. But I felt similarly. I had the card deck of laundry. It's just always been kind of what I do. And I think, if someone has a really good laundry tip or suggestions, please put them in the comments below because I'm always learning. Laundry just never stops in my house. It feels like every single day I'm doing a load. I don't always fold it every single day, but it just never ends. And maybe that's because we're still in the stages of potty training. Whole different video I should do because potty training, those who can do it in 3 days, great, but it's a lie. We do a lot of laundry. Our kiddos are pretty heavy, strong, very physical playing kid, so gets dirty a lot. We're maybe going through more outfits in a day. For her, I know I'm guilty of this. I definitely change my outfits like 2 to 3, 4 times a day if I work out, go to work, pajamas, but it just seems like it never stops. And so I do think that was the weight of what made it feel unfair. But I did tell him it was super nice. He took the deck of prepping her lunch for school every day for our daughter, and it's so simple to do. Like in my head, it's more of a motivational issue for me of like, sit down and just do it the night before. You feel better when you wake up in the morning. And when I'm lazy, I'd wake up in the morning and feel stressed and rushed and overwhelmed. But he took that task and he did it every day except one day because it was a hot meal one of the days and I said I could do it. And it was so nice. It was nice not having to think about it and knowing he was doing it. So we're going to reevaluate week 2 this week and see. I'm still trying to sort like, what would I hand off to him? Because I don't know what it is. But it was worth trying. So I highly recommend trying it out. The idea, though, is that you do need to keep reevaluating it, which I love as a couples therapist because the work and relationship, you never reach the top of the mountain. The goal is that you want to feel connected, you want to feel good, you want to feel like you're communicating well, but you don't just like check it off and say, good, we've done it, it's going to be in place forever. You have to keep sitting down, you have to keep evaluating, you have to keep looking at it together. And I like the concept of this book and the Fair Play cards because that's the concept of sit down together, check in. How is this working? How is this going for our life? What can be modified? What can be changed? Do we still value this? Can we hand this off? Can we delegate? Can we outsource? Sitting down and talking and evaluating together, being a team versus being enemies. So that's the review of our week 1. We'll keep trying it out because that's how I like to approach things, and I like to practice what I teach. I was going to say preach, but teach. Practice what I teach. If I'm going to make a recommendation for the couples I work with, I like to try it out first in my own relationship so I can back it up and say, I recommend this, I've seen it work, I've practiced it, and I think it can help you. So give it a try, and I'll put some links below so you can get the book and you can see the card deck, or the card decks, I think that's what it's called. But yeah, if you've used this before, I'd love to hear your thoughts of how it went. Did it work? Did it not? What would you do differently? How has it helped your relationship? And let me know.